Welcome back to Slothbox. I'm Lyndon Dixon. This is the review show where, as you know it, we only talk about the biggest and best boxing that's happened over the weekend. And a decent night of boxing out in Canada as Beterbiev beat Callum Smith in round 7 with a knockout to win that fight and surely put him in contention, or not contention, firm talks for that Bivol fight. But we'll get onto that a little bit in a minute. First, I want to talk about another firefight on that card between Jason Maloney and Sanchez. I mean, it was a defence for Maloney's world title, and yeah, like I said, it was a firefight and one of the fights of the year already. I mean, we'll be talking about this at the end of the year, no doubt, in the Slothbox award shows. I mean, one of the judges had it 114 draw, and the other two had it 116-112 in Maloney's favour. So if you didn't get to see it, those scorecards just show you as it is how close that fight was. And the thing is, Maloney's brother said Jason missed Christmas, missed New Year's, missed birthday celebrations, and that allowed him to dig in those later rounds, and Sanchez sort of put his foot down a little bit more and tried to push the fight. But Maloney, in typical Maloney fashion, he gave it back. When he felt that pressure, he stepped up. And yeah, I feel like he did just edge that fight. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. It was a cracker. But yeah, really interesting to see what he does next. In the preview show, we spoke about who he could fight. And yeah, Charlie Edwards would be a great fight for him, or getting that belt back, getting that revenge from the man that he lost to before. Now, let's talk about the main event between Artur Beterbiev and Callum Smith. Now, Beterbiev stopped Smith in the 7th round. And wow, what a performance. I mean, Callum Smith is the best of the rest. You've got Bivol, you've got Beterbiev. Then for me, it's Smith right there. So the fight, for me, people talking about it before, a closer fight, it's not going to go the distance. It didn't go the distance. But Beterbiev dealt with Smith like he wasn't of the level he was. And that's no disrespect to Smith. It's a complete fair play and well done to Beterbiev for his quality and his power. It's unbelievable. 20 fights, 20 knockouts. The bloke's like 38, 39, and he's still got the chin of a young man. I don't know how he does it. They say power's the last thing to go, and we know that, but the chin he's got, when is that going to go? Like, when is that chin going to go? And now the thing is, we all want to see the Bivol fight, obviously. We'll probably be in Saudi Arabia because they've got the money to put it on. Now, after the fight, Beterbiev says, obviously that's the fight he wants next. But he also said something quite interesting in my point of view. He said that he doesn't think Bivol's a great fighter. Hold your horses. Let me finish. He says he doesn't think Bivol's a great fighter. He thinks he's a good fighter. He also said, I'm not a great fighter. I'm a good fighter. And he said, it's only when the winner of that fight is allowed to be called a great fighter. Now, I think that's an unbelievable, brilliant mentality to have. He's not putting himself there as the best. But also, the only other main man in that division, he says, you're not the best until you can beat me. And you won't beat me. So for me, that is a very interesting fight. I hope we see it sooner rather than later. I mean, yeah, I feel like there's some real interesting fights this year. And Beterbiev against Bivol, for the Undisputed, I think, will be a cracking fight. No matter where it is, no matter when it is, I'll be watching. And I know you will as well. But yeah, decent little night of boxing out in Canada. And yeah, interesting to see what happens with Maloney. Interesting to see what Beterbiev does. But also, very interesting to see what Callum Smith does next. I mean, after, obviously, for no wrong reason, he seemed very down, talking about, I'm not sure what he's going to do next. He says it's hard when you realise that you're not the best. And I mean, he was against the best last night, in my opinion. I think Beterbiev beats Bivol. So for Callum Smith, I feel like he's unlucky. Hear me out. I feel like if Callum Smith was at the stage he's at now, just 5 years ago, like if you could put him now, pick him up and place him in the light heavyweight scene 5 years ago, he's a world champion, easy peasy again. Yeah, he's already been a world champion, but at this weight, for me, I feel like there's no doubt. But Beterbiev has got 3 of the belts. Bivol's got the other belt. It looks like it's just going to be hard for him to be that world champion because there's no real way. Does he beat Bivol? Most of you would say no. He didn't beat Beterbiev. So what next for him? What does he do next? Let me know in the comments. What does Smith do next? Who wins, Beterbiev or Bivol? And Jason Maloney, who are you putting him in with? Anyways, like I say, great night of boxing in Canada. I've been Lyndon Dixon. This has been the review show where we only talk about the best boxing over the weekend. Take it easy, stay safe, and we'll see you on the next one.